Love it. Thank you for bringing us that song, Justin. So this month, it's already the end of the month, we are wrapping up our series on curiosity as a superpower. And we've been looking at how to really embrace this idea of curiosity in our own lives by getting curious as to kind of what motivates our behaviors, getting curious as to what is actually going on in our interior world around how we respond or react to things around us, so that we can be a more conscious creator, and that we can get curious and remain open to the infinite possibilities that surround us, and be able to fully embody the true essence of who we are. Not sleepwalking through life, living by default circumstances or living by false narratives that we've been told, but instead we get to get curious and then choose how we show up. Choose how we respond. Choose how we are going to be in any particular moment by listening and allowing that wisdom within to lead and to guide us along the way. So we wrap this up with today's topic: the world is our oyster. So we know that this comes from a Shakespearean quote. So many things that we say today were, brought to life through the beautiful, articulate words of William Shakespeare. So if we were to look at this idea of the world is our oyster, what does that mean? Well, what we know about an oyster is that it has a very thick shell. It has layers that have kind of grown on it over time that keeps it protecting its soft insides. And it is hard to actually open the oyster by simply prying it open. You often have to have some kind of as Shakespeare said, a sword or device or fire or something to crack open this hardened shell of the oyster. And what the beautiful reading told us about earlier was what an oyster does, what it's probably most well known for, is the creation of these beautiful pearls that many of us wear as an expression of beauty. And so how a pearl is made is actually an irritant that somehow gets past this hardened shell and gets inside the soft, fleshy part of the oyster. And the irritant then becomes transformed through the very essence of the mother of pearl. So what it's called nacre, I don't know. I love how I get to research and learn new things every week. When I was like, okay, if I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to find out all the information. So this essence that is actually the inner material, the organic substance inside the oyster called mother of pearl, it's like a crystalline substance. It begins to coat the irritant with that until it becomes this beautiful pearl, which then is a beautiful gift of beauty to the world. So we all have this opportunity to transform the irritants in our own lives and in our world, but it does take a willingness to sit in the discomfort. It takes a little patience, resilience, to witness and to recognize and to first even notice the irritant that has come into our lives, and then pour our essence upon it so that something new can emerge. And from this, we get curious, how can the irritants in my life, how can the experiences, the pain, the suffering that I have experienced and transform actually be of benefit to the world and others? Well, I want to share with you a little bit of the global vision that is created by Centers for Spiritual Living. That is the bigger organization that we are a part of. It says, we envision a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of the political, corporate, academic, and social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the emerging global consciousness. So those are some pretty big words and ideas, but that's why it's a vision, right? It's something to live towards. So how do we do this? How do we begin to change the systems and the structures in the world to be that of which is emerging in our collective consciousness? Well, we must first be willing to take a look and then to be the change we wish to see. When we are presented with a situation or a circumstance in our lives, there is an opportunity to pour our attention to it, not getting caught up in it, but pour our attention to it from this place of witnessing, from this place of curiosity, from this place of wholeness and love, knowing that this experience, this irritant, isn't the very truth and nature of myself or life or this other person that is causing the irritation. That is not the actual truth. The truth is the essence of the mother pearl within all of us, this essence of love, which can take the irritant and allow it to transform us as we transform it into something new to be birthed, to be revealed. And with that, we must discover within us our own fire and passion. That fire that's going to crack open this hardened shell that many of us walk around the world with to reveal our true, vulnerable, soft insides and to show the world how these irritant grains of sand we have taken and we have transformed, we have alchemized into something beautiful. So we do this by doing our inner work and being willing to be vulnerable, to show others, to speak, to share, to demonstrate, to take the action, to actually live this teaching, to actually live our spiritual practices and principles in action. Treat, pray, move our feet. The Quakers, they have it going on. They remind us, right? We don't just come together to but we actually take the action into the world. So the oyster and the sand and the pearl, it's, this concept of how we can look at the world as an opportunity for transformation. And then to listen to that inner guidance that naturally, intuitively, within each of us, there is that divine wisdom, that something within us that knows, that allows something new to be birthed by listening to that inner wisdom. Intuitively, the oyster uses that which is already present in its environment to shift the irritant. And we too can change the world and our lives and everything that we are experiencing that is causing the discomfort and the suffering in our lives if we are willing to look at it from a place of wholeness. Not deny that it's happening, but look at it as an opportunity to say, what is seeking to be known now? What is seeking to be shifted? So if we look at this as more of a global perspective, as we talk about these different systems in the world, so when the pain arises and what we're seeing in the world right now as the economic systems, for example, get more and more farther apart, we see that it's not working. This is not working for the benefit and the good of all. So if we are here to create a world that works for everyone, we are beginning to, we have been for a while, but really now actually see and talk about the discomfort that is caused by these systems that create such vast separations of, opportunity for some and not for others. And instead of feeling powerless over this system, we can then get curious about, okay, how in my own life am I creating a world of separation? How in my own life am I creating this distance of making something good or bad or right or wrong? There's ways that we can look at within ourselves how we are a microcosm of the macrocosm, and then see what our personal experience has been and how we have transformed certain things in our lives, and how perhaps we have something to share with someone else to take our fire and our passion and let it ignite us in a way that brings everyone else that is feeling that resonant energy on board, so we can create a movement, so we can create a bigger shift on the collective consciousness. And we can think that, oh, I'm just one person. What is mine to do? And feel so defeated by these things that seem so big. But we are all actually one. So yes, we are just one person, but we are one. And so the work that we do as the one, living within the one of the whole of all, makes an impact. It creates a ripple effect. Dr. Ernest Holmes says, we do not change all of the patterns of our thoughts in a moment. Rather, it takes place little by little until gradually the old thought patterns become transformed into new ones by some inner alchemy of the mind. Isn't that cool? Yes. So this is kind of that idea of make your mess your ministry, right? Look at what has the irritant been in your life that you have transformed and gained a new perspective and now are able to show the world the beautiful pearl that you are by that inner alchemy. And as we do this, Holmes reminds us that it takes place little by little. So don't be discouraged when the irritant comes into your life and the next moment you're demanding a pearl, right? That would be great, but that's not often how transformation occurs. Little by little. Oh, I'm talking to some people. All right, I know. I'm talking to myself always, actually. All right, so we can begin to get curious about these patterns of thoughts that we have that are creating certain things, and then where we need to shift our understanding, where we need to shift our thought patterns to experience something different. And it happens moment by moment. And, there can be a time where we feel like, yes, I'm there. I've healed this, and I show up to a certain situation or relationship differently, and I feel like fully embodied and empowered, and then something happens, and we're taken right back out. I'm like, oh, I thought I healed that, right? I thought that sand was a pearl. What is going on? I hear you. I tell you, I'm speaking from experience here. So the reminder is this is an ongoing journey. We are always in the process of healing and transforming. But just because we feel like we've experienced some kind of growth and shift and then something takes us out a little bit, we have to remember that we are still in a new level of experience, right? We don't get taken out all the way back to, the experience when we were a child. We have gained more of this coating of the mother of pearl around the sand to create the strength and the power to rebound even faster moment by moment. So let us not forget how much growth we have experienced in those moments where something still triggers us. Because at least from my experience, those moments of being taken out again and thinking, I thought I healed this wound, I can pick myself up so much faster. It may last moments, hours, days, instead of months or years of going back to that pattern of I'm not good enough or I'm not worthy or whatever that is, right? So little by little, gradually we begin to shift our world of thought and these patterns to expand our own personal awareness and our own consciousness. And so we can then take that as an opportunity to be of benefit to the world. So the oysters, for the oyster shell to be cracked open, it often takes heat or fire or a sword. And so is true about revealing our inner pearls. We are often put through the fire, so to speak, and then it requires a sense of fully embodying and strong conviction and this fire-filled passion within us to activate us such that we can create this ripple effect of movement out in the world, to be the change that we want to see. So when we see things that tap on our heart, when we see moments of pain and discomfort, not only within ourselves, but in the world around us, we can call upon that inner fire, that passion. Some call it the fire from heaven, the love, that white hot fire and desire to crack open where we may have hardened our own hearts, to be vulnerable enough to show our fleshy insides and to let the world see the sand, the irritants that we have transformed and turned into pearls. Doesn't mean we don't also still have some sand there that are kind of, half covered. We don't have to feel like we have figured it all out in order to start to open up and share with the world who we are here today, all that we have learned and transformed over the years, knowing that we are always in this evolutionary journey of becoming. But is it a gift? It's a gift to share with others and to raise each other up and to invite that invitation through our own personal experience. So never underestimate your power to shift, to change the world by creating your own ripple effect with those around you. So I want to share a little bit about last night. So many of you were there last night for the equinox celebration at the Ison's house. Let's give them some love for sharing their, yes. They opened up their home and their land and created a beautiful ritual for us to experience together. And one part of the ritual was gathering around the fire, and there was an invitation for each of us, one by one, to approach the fire in the middle of the circle that has been created and to pick up a pine cone and to infuse the pine cone with all that we are grateful for and thankful for. And the invitation was to either say it out loud or just hold it in your thoughts and then throw it in the fire. And there were about 50 people there. And one by one, we each held space for each person to come to the fire. And as I was reflecting on this, and I was chatting with Colleen this morning, and she brought up the fact that I think everyone, maybe one or two people, said their gratitude in silence, but the majority of people spoke out loud what they are grateful for. And first, I just want to acknowledge the vulnerability that takes, the courage that takes to be witnessed, to be seen in that way. And I want to recognize several people also use this word, the safety that they felt. So the container that was created by the intentional gathering and the ritual and the intention that the Isons put into this experience. And if you looked around the circle of those that were there last night, all ages, all walks of life. I mean, truly a diverse group of folks that to me shows it takes even extra vulnerability, right? It's one thing to share something in front of your group of friends or folks that you kind of know well and know that they accept you and, believe the same things you do. But in a group that we don't quite know everyone perhaps, and folks have different life experiences, to come forward and to say something as vulnerable as, acknowledging the things in your life that you're grateful for. And then the other thing that occurred in that ritual and throwing that in the fire was, as the circle went on, there was the energetic ripple effect. Because we, as the ones witnessing the others taking their moment with the fire, the energy of gratitude that everyone was sharing just kind of became this palpable wave that grew and grew and grew and sparked a moment, at least for me, to reflect on, yes, that, or yes, that. Like, I know I have the few things that I said that I'm grateful for, but what other people shared invited me into their world and to say, yes, I'm grateful for that too. So I bring this up in this context to say we can think, how can I change the world? Well, this is a simple example. By being in a safe space, a brave space, to simply share your heart changes the world. We were all uplifted, benefited from the energy of each person's willingness and vulnerability to share. From the 5-year-old to the 80-something-year-old, everyone shared authentically and was willing to be witnessed. And even those that just stood there and held it in their hand and their heart, we felt the gratitude and the love. So don't underestimate the power of showing up, of being vulnerable, of being authentic, of sharing. So I want to invite you into a moment of curiosity now. And think about, is there something in your world right now that is working you over, that you can shift your perspective to see really how are you working it over as that grain of sand in your inner world, in your little shell, if you were. And so what is that irritant right now for you? Just bring it to mind. Get curious. And then to realize and affirm that the very essence and nature of who you are has all the power, has all the wisdom, all the strength, all the beauty that is required to transform this irritant, to alchemize, through simply witnessing and being with, noticing, getting curious about what is bothering you, opening up to a willingness to see it perhaps from another perspective. But inviting some space right here, right now, into your heart to not be so resistant. To just sit with that. Breathe. And allow your beautiful mother of pearl essence to begin to alchemize, shift, expand. And now affirm that you have the power, that fire from heaven within you to do this work. So step boldly and courageously into what is seeking to be transformed in, as, and through you. And to bring that passion into the world. So we all have pearls, perhaps pearls of wisdom, pearls of grit, pearls of curiosity. But what is that pearl within you that is desiring to be revealed in some way? Right? So we may be in the process of becoming with some things, and we may be in the process of revealing others to the world. And so how can we look at our spiritual practices as a way to bring our full attention and intention to that which is being transformed in our lives right now? And to that mess that we have already transformed and perhaps experienced a new aha or insight or perspective on, that we are ready to share with the world. So this week, I invite you to not simply ignore that which brings you discomfort, but look directly at it. Don't make excuses for why it's there, or why you can't do anything about it, or it's never going to change. But instead, to bring it to the forefront of your awareness and your consciousness through your own spiritual practice, meditation, mindfulness. Bring it, that discomfort, that irritant, into your heart, and to begin to allow it to transform, knowing that you already have within you everything you need. Allow your curiosity to provide new insights, perspectives, to reveal greater possibilities of who you are here to be. And slowly that irritant, remember, step by step, that irritant will begin to be transformed. And then when you are ready, you can reveal the beautiful pearl to the world. So this is what we're up to. And let's take it into prayer. Taking a nice deep breath. Recognizing love, recognizing wholeness, recognizing peace, joy, freedom, creativity, recognizing the true essence of life. This one life, that which some call God, universe, spirit. This one life that is the divine nature, the truth, the cosmic isness back of all things, that is moving in, as, and through each and every one of us. As we recognize this truth, we pour our intention, we pour our focus, our awareness on the energetic vibration of love, of wholeness, of freedom, of creativity, and remember who we are. Remember that this too is true for me. For we are one, and there is one life moving in, as, and through all life. So therefore I know that I am free. I am whole. Love is having its way as my life right here, right now. And as I speak this word, I know that this is true for all, for there is only one. So freedom is here now. Wholeness is revealed now. So I claim for each and every one of us that deep willingness and surrender to look within, to see things anew, and to allow that which appears to irritate us to be an opportunity for growth, for transformation, for alchemy, to experience something new, to experience whatever is seeking to be emerged within us and expressed into this world in a way that it only can, uniquely through each of us individually. So I'm just so grateful to know that we are a collective of individuals experiencing this world as wholeness, as freedom, as creativity, as joy, and that we are igniting this passion, this fire from heaven within each of our hearts to transform that irritant and reveal the pearl. Yes. How good it is to remember and to know that we have everything we need within to shift, to heal. And in moments where we doubt, we can lean on the strength and the consciousness of those around us and our beloved community to know the truth for us. That's what it's all about. Yes. Healing is happening now. And for that, I am grateful. And I release this word, knowing it is done and it is so. And so it is.